Watch out, the far right in Ireland. There is a new player in town. Of course, I'm talking about the revolutionary communists of Ireland. Okay, I'm super scared, guys. Look at this guy. This guy with his nose ring and his little man bush at the back of his head. Okay, he's got that little flippin' mullet. I'm terrified, guys. Okay, the revolutionary communists of Ireland are putting out a declaration that they're going to overthrow the far right and conservative movement of Ireland. Whereas, matter of fact, there is no far right in Ireland, okay? There's no political person in the government that you could name as far right. And of course, guys, I'm being facetious. I don't think that this guy with his nose piercing and his long hair, his hippie hair, has any threat or is going to do anything in regards to any sort of political movement. But today we have a crazy video, okay? It's the revolutionary communists of Ireland that I've said once before, okay? The RCI are threatening to push over the rest of Ireland and push over the political movements and become leaders in the country. So stay tuned. This is a 2-minute long video we're going to react to, and then straight after I'm going to be talking about their webpage. They have a whole webpage dedicated to it that you can join up and join today, okay? If you haven't lost your mind and brain cells already, my advice is not to sign up for this, okay? I think they're complete lunatics. Anyone calling for communism in Ireland is insane. You're free to go to Russia and North Korea, okay? Or any sort of country like that you'll really see the crazy impact that it can have, okay? Killing of 30 million people during World War II. I mean, it is a shit show that we have a openly communist party in Ireland, guys. But hey, man, I'm all for freedom of speech. You're allowed to do this, but this video is going to be insane. I haven't watched this video, but it was sent to me by a loyal patriot friend of mine in Ireland. So like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you want to join the movement, guys, hit the membership down below. Become a County Gains member. And yeah, let's see what this nutcase has to say today.
Hi, I'm Fionn with the Revolutionary Communists of Ireland. Yesterday, outside the Garden of Remembrance, those far-right grifters like Conor McGregor were spreading lies and misinformation about our class brothers and sisters. They were saying that immigration is the cause for all the ills of capitalism.
Let me stop you right there. Nobody yesterday said that immigration was the cause of all ills of capitalism. Okay, even if you're taking this from a libertarian, liberal standpoint, an old school libertarian standpoint, like, you understand that yesterday or Saturday's protest, okay, at the Garden of Remembrance, okay, April 26th, okay, shout out to all the patriots that made it that day. Even if you were to suggest that that's a far right, anti-immigration rally, that's what the mainstream media called it. And it wasn't really, guys. It spread beyond that. And I've said this in multiple videos. I think I was one of the first people to talk about that. It wasn't necessarily an anti-immigration rally. Far from it, matter of fact. It was an anti-government policy rally. Okay, this is people that were pissed off at the government. I saw loads of immigrants there on Saturday. I mean, there was a lot of people there, guys, that were from all walks of life: white, black, yellow from China. Okay, I'm just joking, guys, but from people from China, people from all over the world, okay, actually attended that rally, and they pissed off because the government are giving free houses and money to people that don't have Irish citizenship. It's just a complete shit show. Okay, so it wasn't a far right anti-immigration rally. Okay, so you got that wrong. Okay, mullet. We're gonna call this guy Mullet.
Capitalism. They were blaming immigration for the rising cost of living, for the lack of affordable housing in this country, and for the lack of decent healthcare.
It's not the sole cause of the rise in the housing and the decent healthcare. It's not the sole cause, immigration, but it definitely doesn't help. This sort of mass bringing of the UN bringing in thousands of people to IPAS centers is just, that makes no sense whatsoever. Bringing people from Albania and Kosovo and flipping Algeria, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense, guys, to do that, and it's completely ludicrous. And like I said, you can have that debate about bringing people that come from different places if you want to come and work and stuff, but like I said, I would shut it down completely, and then you audit people that are here. Okay, complete audit to see if people are working here properly, to see if these millionaires aren't making all this money off the IPAS centers before, like, it's 2.3 billion euro business in Ireland. Complete audit of the people that we have here in this country as is, to make sure there's no crimes being committed, there's no money being laundered, and then we can sort of see immigration and sort of re-immigrate and sort of bring people, if they not bring anybody in, We can kind of let people come in if they're trying to help the country in a way, but completely limit it, guys. Really limit it, okay? To a point where it's not going to be this overhaul of society like it is now.
Healthcare. They say they are representing the brave men and women who gave their lives during the 1916 Rising.
Yeah.
They say that they are carrying out the will of James Connolly himself.
Yeah.
But let's set the record straight. They are nothing more than the yapping little dogs of capitalism. They support the bosses, the landlords, and the system itself that is making sure that your child has to sleep cold at night.
You know, I'm a really fair guy. Like, this is my whole channel is built off authenticity, and I'm not going to just support somebody on the conservative movement or the right if you're not really logical and actually saying good points. But what this guy is saying is complete nonsense, guys. You know, people on the right and conservative people don't support landlords and support the bosses and the leaders of the country that are making it corrupt. They don't. They don't support Fine Gael. They don't support Fianna Fáil. They don't support Sinn Féin, because we've seen that they are the people that have destroyed the country over the last 100 years. Nobody on the right or conservative, even left, guys. Let's talk about the libertarian liberals for a second. They don't support people in those three political powers because they know that they have ruined the country. You know?
Sleep cold at night. The enemy isn't your neighbour, but the capitalist system. As James Connolly put it, the working class have no enemy except for the capitalist class. But the far right will not be defeated by calls for peace or by relying on the guards, because the guards' job is to protect the bosses, the landlords, and the politicians. It's to
Hey man, I agree with you on that. I'm a super fair guy.
protect Lord.
The Gardaí is to protect landlords and politicians. Absolutely, I 100% agree with you on that, brother. You know, because that's what the Gardaí do, guys. They're just like kind of taking orders from the top, basically. You know, but I don't know exactly what he's trying to say, that the guards should be beating up people that are protesting in Dublin. That's a bit stupid. I don't know why. You know, he's saying as well that the people on the far right, as James Connolly put it, okay,
have no enemy.
For those who don't know who James Connolly is, he's a founding father of the country, okay? He's one of the legends that built the country, of course, along with Michael Collins and the rest of them, a lot of different people, right, that built the country. But yeah, I kind of agree with him on that as well, the capitalistic class. Like, the thing is though, guys, and I'll be honest, you know, I do think, you know, even if you're a libertarian, small L, okay, you do need a government. I do agree with that. I don't think that a lot of these, you know, communist guys, they don't agree that you should have a government, okay, or they agree that it should be communist. I definitely wouldn't agree that it should be communist, but definitely there should be less monopolies, and there should be less, like, massive, you know, wealth at the top. You know, I don't agree that you should have 300 billion euro. Like, I just don't agree with that. I know a lot of people are like, well, Chris, what if you become a billionaire? Okay, you can have a few billion, okay, 10 billion. Like, how much money do you need, guys? You know what I mean? And I know it impacts people in a certain way, but I definitely agree to the point where he's saying, like, you know, there shouldn't be a massive income of wealth for some people solely. Like, the money should be not spread around, but it should be, you know, controlled to the point where you can't just make insane amounts of money without helping out, you know, the poorer people as well. You know, you should have duties as a man if you have that much money, you know. And I see, like, that billionaires could help these people. Like, even look at the billionaires, the brothers, you know, that invented Stripe. Shouldn't they be helping the homeless people? Like, why don't they help homeless people? I don't know, do they? They could be, but, you know, people like that should be helping the homeless as well. It shouldn't be just up to the government. So, okay, we can get a middle ground. I like to have a middle ground with the crazy lunatics, the lefties. I like to have a middle ground. I'm not that crazy, guys. I'm a very logical thinker. I'm a fair guy too, man. You know, if you come at me with some crazy shit, we're gonna have a problem. But if you come at me with a fair argument, let's have that discussion.
Capitalist class. But the far right will not be defeated by calls for peace or by relying on the guards, because the guards' job is to protect the bosses, the landlords, and the politicians.
Yeah.
It's to protect Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael.
Yeah.
Those who the far right prop up.
Ooh. I agreed with him until he said the far right prop up Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. You know, people on the right conservative movement, guys, they definitely don't prop those people up. They're for people like the Freedom Party, you know, Councillor Quinlan, you know, they're for people like David O'Reilly from Galway. They're like for more conservative people, and there isn't a conservative movement. There isn't a quote unquote, you know, centre right party. Let's be honest. Everybody says Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael are centre right. They're not, guys. We're talking about more conservative than them. There isn't even a party like that. You know, maybe Ain 2, but even Ain 2 are pretty liberal. there isn't a party that's even like that. Maybe the National Party, there's a few different parties. So no, they wouldn't be supporting Fine Gael at all. No way. I've never heard one right-wing or conservative guy say that they support Fine Gael or Fianna Fáil. They literally hate those parties, guys. They literally, and Sinn Féin, they hate those three parties. They said it in the rally on Saturday. Like, if I met a guy that was conservative that supported those people, I'd be like, you're an idiot. You're a complete idiot if you support those people. So yeah, I agree with him on this, but I don't agree that people on the right prop up Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. That's ludicrous.
Only the mass organised working class will ever be capable of defeating the far right and the capitalist system. Now, we must confront the far right in the streets, of course, but we must also politically isolate them by building a real revolutionary alternative that shows that the working class's best interests lie in themselves, not in these grifters.
I'm all for propping up the working class. That's literally what, I think people in the conservative movement do. But it's hard to do that, guys, when you don't have some sort of wealth. And if you spread the wealth in a communist movement, you're not going to be able to support, the people aren't going to be able to prop up the system, guys, and prop up the government. It's not good, man. I don't think having a communist government would do Ireland any good. It really wouldn't, guys. Of course, limiting the massive amounts of money that the government and these people spend, like on the bike shed, on this kind of crazy shit. But I don't know, this guy, he's a bit young. He doesn't understand, the intricacies just yet. Like, I think as he gets older, he'll kind of understand that. But right now, he's making some okay points. I'm not a dickhead, guys. I'll be honest. If a guy is crackpot crazy, I'll call it out. But I just don't think he knows exactly what he's saying right here. Like, you need people to be rich, quote unquote, to kind of prop up the working class as well. Because where do the working class get jobs from? Now, like I said, there's a limit. Is it 1 billion? Is it 10 billion? It definitely isn't 100 billion. I wouldn't agree with a guy having that much money. I think that's ludicrous and insane. But there's limits to things, of course, guys. But I'm saying, there has to be an in-between right there. And it definitely isn't communism. Like, definitely isn't that. But like I said, I don't want a guy to own 50 billion. It just seems like too much money for someone. Let's spread that wealth around a little bit by helping, the working class as well. And homeless people. And people without jobs. And poor people and, desperate people, single mothers and shit like that, right?
The point is that these grifters have nothing to offer the working class, and we need to show them what fighting really looks like, not against the immigrant, but against the system and all those who prop it up.
I agree with him. I agree, 100%. But what I don't agree with is he said the immigrant. No one's hating on immigrants. This guy is kind of, and this is what the left, they kind of misconstrue these like anti-immigration rallies that they call them. It's not just that, dude. What people are doing is, right? Let me just articulate this fucking well so this guy understands. Okay, when you bring in thousands of people and they're not checked, they're not working, it destroys the country, dude. You can't have that. Like, you plain and simply can't. If you want to come here, like, work the odd maybe 100 people a year, they brought in 400,000 people. This guy doesn't agree with that. If you were to ask him about that, I know the left wing don't agree with that either. I don't know if this guy's liberal or left wing. I would imagine left wing, communist, right? Authoritarian type of thing, dictator type of shit. But having 400,000 people come into your society is not good, dude. Like, immigration it's sometimes can be okay in certain instances, but in Ireland right now, it is not good. Plain and simple. There's just too many 120,000 people coming in per year. That's crazy, guys. There's no houses. There's no jobs. These people don't even speak fucking English. What do you expect people to live on, and what do you expect people to work as? No. This guy is kind of losing the train a little bit, but I understand what he's saying. The system and those who prop it up should absolutely be, fought on, let's say, if he wants to use those fighting words, like, or it should be voted against. You know what I'm saying?
Those who prop it up. So let's fight for real change. Let's demolish this system. Let's get rid of Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael and the whole lot of them. What we need is genuine class struggle and a return to Conley. If you agree with us, then you should join us in that fight. Sign up at communism.ie or DM us now to get involved.
Bro, that guy is gas. Are you a communist? Then get involved. That's Karl Marx there. Okay, so I had to check out the Revolutionary Communists of Ireland's webpage. Of course, they have they have a webpage. So here we have, about 50 people or 30 people that are signed up. All college young guys, young girls as well. There's about 3 girls I see there. You can apply to join here. So let's apply to join, just for the crack, right? Let's apply to join here. Join the communists. Build a revolutionary communists of Ireland. Okay. If you want to fight for revolution, then you should get organized. Now, I'll be honest with you guys. Revolutionary, that sounds kind of violent. Like, I wouldn't be called for that at all. We should be able to vote. Like, people that were at the rally on Saturday, we call to voting and, like, do it democratically. I think that they're talking about fighting and having a revolution. That just seems violent and crazy and crackpot. And if I'm being honest, it just seems insane. I don't know why they'd be doing that. The crisis of capitalism is ravaging workers and young people all around the world. Millions can see that the world is on fire and drawing a clear conclusion that we need a revolution. So these guys are actively calling for a violent revolution. I mean, that's pretty insane, guys. That's illegal, and the Gardaí should definitely look into this. Like, that's insane. The only force capable of transforming society is the organized working class mobilized around a revolutionary program. But in order to fight and win, the working class needs a revolutionary communist party. Oh my god. Such a party can be built on providing its founding the firm genuine revolutionary ideas of Marx, Engels, Lenin, Trotsky, and Connolly. Leon Trotsky has a famous phrase. He says, war, and this is a great phrase, war, you may not be interested in war, but war is interested in you. Okay, so it's basically saying that eventually you have to stand up and fight for your ideas. But the thing is, guys, I think these guys are taking it a bit too far because they want to have a big war and stuff. The guy looks like he weighs 150 pounds, soaking wet with boots on. He's not fighting anything. Like, no offense, brother, but you're not fighting anything, okay? If you're a communist, there is no time to waste. A world is to win. Fill out the form below and we'll put you in touch with the revolutionary communists around your area. Okay, we can give you an advance. Communists must spread to every city, town, and Ireland, and a village around Ireland and the world. Jesus. Okay, let's sign up for this, guys. Enter my date of birth, my phone number. Why do you want to join? Because I'm a nutcase. Let's actually be a professional on this one, guys. So my phone number, I'm going to give you guys my phone number. You guys can text me or ring me anyway. I don't even care. I'm on YouTube. The world can ring me. Because I want change. Let's see what they say. County, hold on, let me put my YouTube handle. County Gains on YouTube. Okay, let's see, do they reply back, guys? Apply to join. This sounds like a Gardaí undercover or like an FBI undercover type of thread. I don't know what. I'm not exactly sure. Okay, your joining application was submitted successfully. Okay. Wow. Let's see. Do I get any email? I might get an email back straight away. Oh no, just the Gardaí. Okay, that's funny, guys. Yeah, absolutely insane. Let me know what you guys think of the communist revolutionaries of Ireland. Sounds violent. If I was the Gardaí, I would look into that ASAP because they sound like they're going to do some sort of overthrow of government, coup d'etat. Yeah, I don't want to get involved in all that, guys. They seem cuckoo insane. Let me know your thoughts. I love you all. If you want to support me, hit the join link underneath the video, become a member, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.